Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Mi, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. In today's video, we're going to talk about the possibility of a god of darkness that will be set up to face the sun god. Now, the Yami Yami no Mi is a very unique Logia fruit, and seems to be different from all the others, since it's even possible to hit the user without the need to use Haki. And this seems to be the only Logia fruit without intangibility known. Furthermore, it's said that because it is an all-absorbing fruit, it absorbs physical attacks as well, but these attacks are directed at the user with much greater force. And that's not all. This fruit is able to nullify the powers of other devil fruits, and as I said, it is a unique Logia fruit. So it could be that we don't know the real truth behind the origin of this fruit that Teach possesses, and there may be an even greater secret, the true power of darkness. In today's video, we're going to talk about the possibility that Teach's fruit is not really the fruit that we've been told about, and just like Luffy's fruit, the Yami Yami no Mi may actually be another kind of fruit with an incredible style of awakening. But before we dive into the video, if you're new to the channel, we'd be absolutely honored if you considered leaving us a like, or even subscribing with a comment letting us know what you think of the video. It really helps us out and it really motivates us to make new content. And if you'd like to help out the channel even more, consider sharing the video with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So friends, Teach is the current bearer of the Fruit of Darkness, and he's always seemed to want to possess this fruit. And somehow during his childhood, he learned about this fruit and how it worked. So he put in a plan in action to get this devil fruit. He joined Whitebeard's crew, waiting for the exact moment when he could find this fruit so that he could eat it and continue on with his plan. Because of the wide travels of Whitebeard's crew, at a certain point in the story, Whitebeard's crew manages to find the fruit, but there was a rule within this crew that those that found it were the ones that would eat the fruit if they wanted. And since it was not Teach who found the fruit, he wasn't going to be the one to eat the devil fruit. But his ambition was so great and he wanted to eat that fruit so badly, he knew that there was nothing that would stop him to get there. So during one night, Teach saw an amazing opportunity to get the Yami Yami no Mi for himself, and he attacked Thatch unnoticed, took the fruit, and ran away, leaving Thatch on the ground while he slowly lost his life. Because of the act, he became a much sought-after pirate by other members of the Whitebeard pirates, and all allied pirates of the crew aimed to take Teach's life if they found him and make him pay for this deepest of treachery. Even Ace set out to sea in search of revenge for what Teach had done to his brother Thatch, traveling for many miles until he could find information as to where the traitor Marshal D. Teach was. During the confrontation against Ace, we see that Teach's fruit is indeed very powerful, and being a fruit capable of completely taking away the powers of the Mera Mera no Mi. And not only that, it also demonstrated a rather unusual peculiarity. Even though it was a Logia, the user was still hit by attacks. An explanation was even created about this. However, this may not be the true explanation of this fruit, and the explanation may be far beyond what we currently think. With the recent awakening of Luffy's fruit, many thought that this fruit was actually a paramecia fruit, but with the revelation that the fruit, the Gomu Gomu no Mi, never really existed, it has irrevocably changed the course of history in One Piece. It turns out that the real name of the fruit was the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika, and that it was actually a Zoan, and this information blew many people's minds. This fruit that we have followed for such a long time and watched the user constantly evolve was actually another fruit altogether, which makes it quite surprising because we've never seen a fruit that actually has other powers like this. Luffy's fruit is actually the fruit of Nika, the sun god, and we still don't really understand what makes the powers of this fruit actually have the characteristics of rubber, but it is said that the sun god Nika had a rubbery body. Now, we don't exactly know why this deity had an elastic body. Maybe it was just a flexibility or some other kind of metaphor, but this served perfectly well for this power to be mistaken for a rubber fruit and not for a deity capable of apparently using flames from the sun to confront his opponents during a battle. The world of One Piece is quite large, so there may be a possibility that there's not only one fruit that is legendary, much less one fruit that the Gorosei changed its name to. There may be other fruits with incredible abilities and powers hiding in the shadows, but it has not yet been shown what the real powers and new powers that come from the awakening of this fruit, something that seems to be really quite difficult to obtain. Now, we followed Luffy's journey this all time and watched him evolve, and it wasn't until this awakening that we saw his skills raised to just an amazing level. And as you can see, it took a long time for Luffy to awaken his fruit, just like Law and Kid, who also took long times to awaken their respective fruits. Now, it's only recently that the awakening of fruits has started to have greater prominence in the story. During Law's and Kid's fight against Big Mom, we see that these two characters were able to show the power of their fruit's awakenings. At the time, we thought this could have been foreshadowing that Luffy's fruit could also be awakening soon, and maybe had greater flexibility with its power with rubber, but that's not exactly what we got. When Luffy awakened his fruit, he became the sun god Nika himself, and his form changed entirely, becoming both physically physically strong, and his powers increased in a very surprising way. Now, in anime and manga overall, authors usually use a lot of symbology to represent good and evil. If you just think about the yin and the yang, it's just one of those symbologies. And even the sun and the moon is a representation that we see quite often in the anime. So just as Luffy, who possesses the power of the sun god Nika, and is the one who will bring the light to illuminate the hearts of those who no longer have freedom, or suffer because of someone else, or even bring hope to those who have no more reason to fight, there must also exist in One Piece the darkness that wants to cover the world, bringing despair and fear to those who stand in its presence, completely taking away their hopes and security, leaving only a great emptiness in their hearts. And it may be that Teach has shown himself to be this darkness, because he not only wants to conquer his selfish desires, but he ignores any obstacle in the quest to gain the power that he always desired. So he would have taken anyone's life if necessary, even from his companions who regard him as a brother. Teach is visibly the evil that sails over the vast ocean, bringing chaos and devastation to the world in search of a selfish goal that will satisfy only him. Teach has a fruit that portrays these words very well. Yami Yami no Mi is darkness itself. Its power consumes everything around it, no matter what it is. And this darkness is always spreads until there's nothing left. This darkness even seems to consume the powers of fruits that could be considered as hope. For if the user of a devil fruit has the power of his fruit annulled, he could do nothing against this enemy who is the bearer of a dark power. But this power of Teach's has not yet awakened, and the deeds we currently see him doing are only a small fragment of the powers that we may see in the future, and Teach could end up being one of the most devastating powers ever demonstrated in the world of One Piece. As was just said by Kaido in the manga in the last chapter of One Piece, the power of a devil fruit is only awakened when your body and mind are aligned with its ability, and thus achieving the power of an awakening. And this is something that Teach has not yet been able to obtain, because his fruit that is considered a Logia may not actually be the fruit he believes it to be, and it may be one of the legendary fruits in which only one was presented, and that is Luffy's. And of course, before the awakening of Luffy's fruit, the Gomu Gomu no Mi had the power of a paramecia, but in reality was a Zoan, something that could happen with the Yami Yami no Mi. Now it looks like it has the power of a Logia, but as we say, besides the fact that the fruit creates an element, it looks and acts nothing like other Logia fruits. Anyone can hit Teach with great ease, without the need to even use Haki or some other technique to nullify his power. Another detail that favors this possibility is that the damage that Teach receives from any source is increased on Teach. Now this is due to the fact that during the day, the fruit's powers are weakened by sunlight, because in reality, the fruit called the Yami Yami no Mi may actually be a mythical Zoan that possesses the power of the god of darkness. So Teach's powers would be much stronger when there's no light source in the room, making darkness totally dominant and making his power reach its maximum. But when exposed to sunlight, his power is weakened. And just as Teach, who possesses the power of a dark god, is weakened by day, Luffy could also have his power weakened by encountering Teach's powers, as he would not have the existence of the sun to make him stronger. While it's still daytime, Teach's body becomes totally tangible, and the damage done by the sun increases, which would make it impossible for Teach to use the full capacity of his fruit. For this reason, he would have sought the power of a second devil fruit so that he could have strength anytime. During the scene where we see Teach's pirates throw a big cloth over Whitebeard and his captain, Teach goes under the cloth along with Newgate's lifeless body, and in that moment his real power is manifested. And in the dark, this is not the power of an awakening, but the real power of his fruit, because there is no light under that cloth over Teach, so he may have been able to use his true form of darkness to consume Whitebeard's powers. It is this fact that allows him to become the only person to be able to use more than one fruit, because his darkness not only nullifies powers. After all, Teach is having the power of a deity, he could also have no limits just like Luffy. This would allow him to get more than one devil fruit. But obviously it may not have a limit, or at least it hasn't been explained properly, because this darkness of his has an opposite effect of the fruit of the sun. It seems like Luffy can use the power of the fruit of the sun god to use attacks of like paramecia and Zoan and possibly even Logia, unlike Teach, who possesses the power of the fruit of the dark god and has the ability to nullify any fruit power and even take those powers for himself, causing his opponent's hopes of victory to be totally devastated. But so far, he's only taken the power from Whitebeard, who was lifeless, so it could be that this power extraction action can only work when the user no longer has the strength to continue fighting or has already lost their life. Moreover, while the Sun God wants everyone to be happy and joyous and laughing and liberated, Teach's power may seek the very opposite. After all we've seen, he is the only D who did not smile when he was close to losing his life, and he only laughed at his most evil of moments. So with that, my friends, we'd love to know what you think. A lot of people right now think maybe Luffy's awakening might be imagining. So do you think Teach's fruit could be the opposite of Luffy's fruit? And if you think this, let us know from your point of view. Also, do you think there could be other godly fruits hiding in plain sight? Let us know about these and all of your thoughts in the comments below. And with that, friends, as we bring our video to a close, we want to thank you so much for watching the video until the very end. Make sure you comment in any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you've made it this far, give us a like as you head out to take on the rest of your day. Hope to see you all in our next video, and let's keep sailing this giant, wonderful sea together. Take care.